Bodybuilding and lifting weights like being on a lie-low in a pool, you just chilling out and actually having a terrible, terrible time because you never look like how you want to look. So actually it's the equivalent of being on a lie-low and then someone just stabs you right in the eye. Simon Miller, the bald a-hole here. I'm always going to make sure I pronounce the bald a bit stronger than I have been doing because people think I've been saying the bored a-hole. The reason I call myself the bored a-hole, for those people that don't know, is we used to use the proper word and then YouTube didn't like it for one reason or another, so I had to start saying a-hole. But that's what people used to call me in the comments when I first started doing this YouTube stuff. They're like, you bored a-hole, you don't know what you're talking about. I was like, one, you can't really insult me by calling me bald because I'm well aware. That's like going, you Simon piece of crap. It's like, I know, my name is Simon, I can't help this. I suppose I could change it. And then, you know, the word a-hole just makes me laugh anyway. So I thought, well, I'm going to take this insult and turn it into my greeting. And then if you do write it, it's just like you're saying hello. Anyway, don't worry about that. And let's today talk about Chris Bumstead, obviously a guy who is smashing the Olympia scene over the last few years. And I don't know about you, but ever since I've been, basically a fetus and got into lifting weights, I've always been fascinated what bodybuilders eat in their daily routines, right? Because I'm always thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to show us. And within that will be the secret. And actually, what usually happens is it gives you such a different insight to what you expect it's going to be, especially when it comes to the intake of protein. It always makes me go, oh man, people are just eating way too much protein, but we'll get into it. He did post his 5,000 calorie bulking diet on the last day before he ends his prep, and he's going to start leaning down for all the competitions. So I just thought we'd go through it together and hopefully learn a thing or two about how much you do have to eat, but also how much that you don't have to eat.
Woke up, did cardio, stretched, did some shit. I'm trying to get into my right routine now because prep starts next week and you just feel way better being in routine. After all that, I come down and I take my vitamins. These are the basics I take in the morning, if you can even see that.
The first thing he does, I'm going to assume, he kind of really doesn't word it very properly there, is fasted cardio. Everyone's going to argue about that. We've talked about it time and time again. Just pick whatever the hell cardio you want to do and make sure you do that. But then he lets us know what vitamins he's taking. He talks about the fact he takes more of these. But he mentions vitamin D3 and K2. He mentions, I think, vitamin C's in there. He's taking something for his heart and cholesterol. You should absolutely go do that as well. I think citrus bergamot is the one that everyone takes. Well, I don't know why I'm saying that. I take it as well. Think about your overall health and fitness. It's not just about walking around going, oh man, look how big and jacked I am. It's about making sure that your body's operating in the way you want it to. And the thing that I actually found quite interesting is he takes like 12 omega-3s a day, which is a hell of a lot of omega-3s. He backs it up. He talks about wanting to reduce inflammation. And don't forget, that's massively important. You are putting your body under tremendous stress when you do go to the gym. Never forget, you don't actually grow when you're in the gym. You grow when you're resting after you've kicked your own ass. So that's something that you really need to just embrace, I suppose, because I bet there's days when actually you're like, man, I shouldn't go to the gym today because I need to be resting, and you sneak off there anyway, like, hee, and you do it because, again, you think you're doing something productive when actually it can be counterproductive, which is another reason why lifting weights is kind of crazy. But do not forget, any supplement that somebody is taking, including Chris Bumstead, and I'm talking about over-the-counter supplements, is always only going to be helping you that 1-2%. Maybe a little bit more, depending on your own chemical makeup, but it is not the be-all and end-all. You don't take all of these supplements that Chris Bumstead had taken, wake up the next day and go, hot damn, I figured it out.
Breakfast, whatever you like to call it, is a shake. I've been blending it up. I used to eat it as oats, but I'm definitely gonna go back to oats when I'm in prep and I'm hungry. I do a scoop and a half of Jack Factory chocolate peanut butter protein, and then I do 1 scoop of this Ultra Inflamex protein. I put in 90 grams of oats. I put half a banana. Typically, I'll have this, and I'll also have toast and almond butter. Or what I've been supplementing that with lately is one of these bars.
Moves on to his breakfast then. Again, so he's done his cardio, taking his vitamins, having a shower, wearing his Blue Jays top. And I was kind of surprised by this because even he says he's about to basically take in a 1,000 calorie breakfast. And while sometimes he will just eat oats as it is, it's so much easier if he just throws it back as a drink, once again, for obvious reasons, and then has a protein bar afterwards. I think the protein bar's got quite a lot of fat in it, so he's getting his good fats in there as well. There you go. You see, you don't always have to just think, oh, I've got to eat. You can think outside the box and you can do what works for you. If Chris Bumstead can do it, you can absolutely do it too. He also talked about substituting out eggs for a while. And I get a lot of people saying this to me, oh, I can't stomach this anymore, I can't stomach that anymore, but I feel like I need to be getting it in there. There is no point putting yourself through hell just because you think something is a good protein source. Not when we're living in 2021 and there's so many other options. And eggs especially, I went through this. I don't really know what happened. Now I can eat eggs for days and I don't get well, tummy troubles, I suppose. But there was a time when even if I smelt an egg, I was like, man, I'm just going to throw up because I'd overdone it. And that's the same with anything. So always make sure you're putting your health and happiness first. I don't want to drive that into the ground too much, but I just think when you create a nice environment around yourself, everything is just so much easier. And it's the protein that I want to talk about here too. Obviously, you'll see what he's eating protein-wise as we do go through it. I probably should have left this for later, but I haven't now, so we'll get into it. He is not eating a crazy amount of protein. Now, he talked about how much he weighed at the start of the video. I think he was like 18, something like 18 and a half stone or 260 pounds, around there. But when it comes to his protein, I think he says something like, overall, he's eating anywhere from 260 to 290 grams of protein a day. So he's basically doing a pound of body weight, all that stupid equation nonsense that I always get wrong when I'm ranting and raving. But that's not a tremendous amount of protein. I know some people that are like 13, 14, 15 stone, don't know what that is in pounds, and they're eating way over 300 grams of protein. Now, I'm not saying that you may not need this. Maybe you have some crazy kind of body and you do. I don't want to sort of give you advice that is going to steer you down the wrong pathway. But I really do think that a lot of people just decide, well, if I just eat a ton of protein, I'll get really, really big. And there is a certain logic to that. But in terms of finances, in terms of your own body and your own health, and just, not having to throw stuff down your throat that you don't need to, always start at the very minimum dosage and then see what you need, right? So many people, look, it's not going to be the end of the world, aside from maybe it can hurt your kidneys a little bit. It's just something to keep an eye on, because I think some people just go, more protein equals more muscles, and it doesn't really work out that way. As I've told you before, if you eat way too much chicken breast, eventually your body's going to be like, well, I've got to store this as something, so it will start storing it as fat. Obviously, that would take a hell of a lot longer than you eating a bunch of chocolate. But look at Chris Bumstead and just think to yourself, well, there may be something in this, so maybe I don't need to eat as much as I actually eating. Or maybe you need more. And as we are talking about bulking as well, he is basically doing a traditional bodybuilder, I'm going to eat loads. Of course, you can main gain, or you can do all this other stuff. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, but this is just the stuff that I gravitate towards, because again, this is what I like to do. So when I see other people doing it, especially a guy like him, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited.
Moving on to meal numero dos right now. Cooking up some ground turkey. This is the Japanese sweet potato, the white sweet potato. Final product is quite boring.
Move on to meal 2, and he has got it written down here, 575 grams of sweet potato and 160 grams of ground turkey. He himself tells himself off for not eating enough vegetables, so again, make sure you get your veggies in. But that is just your traditional bodybuilding meal. Now, some people hate sweet potato, so again, I'll plug it here, why the hell not? Get the Greg Doucette Power 13 cookbook. I'm in it. Use the link in the description, code SIMON15, 15% off. But there are so many substitutions you can bring in there if, once again, traditional bodybuilding food isn't for you. Now, I don't particularly like turkey. I find it real dry, so I always go for chicken. But I love sweet potato. I think sweet potato is delicious, so I'm happy to incorporate it into my diet. Now, I don't have 575 grams worth of sweet potato, but again, I am not Chris Bumstead. I suppose if I wanted to go on a mega bulk, I could try, but he gets upwards of 5,000 calories here. I don't think my body's going to be able to take 5,000 calories. I think I'm going to store a lot of it as fat, which again ties into what we just said. Take everything slowly. So if you start bulking and you want to do a proper bulk and you're, maintaining on 2,200, don't jump up to 5,000 and over double what you're eating. Go up to 2.5, go up to 2.8, go up to 3. Give it a few weeks. See how you feel, see how you look. Now, it's completely different if you're going to get a personal trainer because you're training for the Olympia. That's your whole life, but I'm going to guess that it's not your whole life, so there's no rush. Always remember that. Bodybuilding and lifting weights, like being on a lilo in a pool, you just chilling out and actually having a terrible, terrible time because you never look like how you want to look. So actually, it's the equivalent of being on a lilo and then someone just stabs you right in the eye.
It's also a sad day, the boring meal, so I was going to add some ketchup because ketchup is life. But look at how empty that is. Also
points out, no sugar and no salt ketchup. I've told you about that before. If you don't have it in your life, you're just making your life more difficult.
And we're headed out the door soon, so I'll make this quick. It's 160 grams of chicken breast, 280 grams of white rice, and 80 grams of guacamole. It's literally homemade guac, so it's just mashed up avocado with a lot of lime and a little bit of cilantro.
Move on to meal 3. He just keeps it nice and simple. How many times have you seen this diet? He's literally eating chicken and rice and green because he's got avocado. Boo, boo, Chris Bumstead, he's in the phone. We're not allowed to support chicken and rice in this day and age, but of course you can. One of my meals is chicken and rice because I like chicken and rice. Now, the problem with this is it's been absolutely ruined by Hollywood actors and influencers who are all like, all I did to get big was eat chicken rice green, chicken rice green, chicken rice green, which Of course, that's a boring meal. Of course it is. You can have more fun with that with your diet. And if you are super struggling to stay on a diet, you have to make sure you're eating sustainable foods. Otherwise, you will break it. Of course you will. If I told you that your life now is you've got to bang your head into a wall, and I said, would you like a cushion to support your head or not a cushion? You're not going to say, not a cushion, please. And that kind of ties into this. But I tell you why I like white rice and chicken, to be honest with you, because sometimes my stomach goes against me. I don't know what happens. And white rice is just so easy to eat and it doesn't cause me any troubles. So again, that makes me happy, which goes into the point we had earlier. But I do think it's important because some people are like, well, I want to eat chicken and rice. And it has kind of been demonized a bit, but that's only because of the nonsense we had beforehand. It is, of course, a great bodybuilding meal. Carbs, in this case, fats, protein. Well, that's what we need.
All right, so this is my pre-workout meal. Nutritious and delicious. I have 300 grams of white rice with a tablespoon of coconut oil. I have 190 grams of white fish. It's more meat content than I normally do because fish has a lower protein content.
Then has his pre-workout meal, and he goes quite low here. He's gone down to 678 calories. I mean, there's still loads, and he goes crazy high later. And he's gone back to the white rice. This time he's having white fish too, 190 grams. And he's having some coconut oil in order to get his good healthy fats in again. So there you go. Look, big rip man having healthy fats. And of course, this is his bulking diet. So when he gets to prep, he's going to rip loads of this out in order to, shred up. But you know that, right? I know that you know that, but we'll still cover it anyway. But it's a simple meal, once again. And he actually does talk about how, in fact, he finds this quite boring. So I suppose, yes, would there be an argument to, knock on his door and say, hey, Chris, you kind of have a bit more fun with this? Potentially. But it seems somewhat dumb for me to try and tell Chris Bumstead what to do. Because, you're going to have to look far and wide. If you put me and Chris, baby, next to each other, I think you're going to find a lot of people that go, they'd rather look like me than Chris Bumstead. And if you do, it's probably my girlfriend, because she's a very lovely person. But even then, she would be lying.
Take some pre-workout. Hint, hint.
Plugs this pre-workout. You can have pre-workout. You can have a coffee. You can have non-stim pre-workout. Don't have to have pre-workout at all. Sometimes think, and he doesn't do this at all, I'm not saying Chris Bumstead, but some people kind of say it like, if you don't have pre-workout, you're not a real bodybuilder. Bullshit.
Making right now, well, first of all, I'm drinking this amazing TART cherry juice. There's a lot of health benefits as I cook. The best meal ever. Right, so here is the final product. My favorite dish for getting in calories. Good old pasta. So altogether, including TART cherry juice in this, comes to 1,101 calories.
So here we go too. Again, he's gone right back to what you kind of expect, sort of old school method. He's trained. He's now going to eat big. But look, he didn't have a magic shake or anything like that. Window opportunity. He's not throwing a bunch of quick acting or quick releasing carbs and protein into a blender and blending it up. Or he didn't tell you. And why the hell would he not tell you? He's telling you everything else. And he has 150 grams of, I think he said brown pasta, I think it was. And that's raw pasta as well. That's a lot of pasta. He makes his own pasta sauce. There you go. Having fun with his meals. He's got his ground turkey. And he even eats some tart cherry juice because of the nutritional benefits that it has. So this kind of goes against my point I made a few minutes ago. I forgot this was what happened next in the video. He is ensuring that he has a over 1,000 calorie meal. And he talks about this. Hopefully I remember to put it in the clip. He talks about how the reason he wants to do it is because it's difficult to get into 1,000 calories. He needs to get in 1,000 calories. So he makes it taste as good as possible. And look what he does for his last meal too.
Approaching the end of my prep right now, the end of off season, and I just want to let loose. I want to eat food I know I'm not going to eat for a long time. So this isn't something I do year round, but something I really just fucking love to eat.
See, he is having protein, bagels, and butter. Now, once more, he says, do I do this all the time? No, I don't, but it's my last day of bulking. I know I'm not going to be able to have these foods for a little while, so I'm giving myself a treat. And this, I suppose, ties into the bigger idea of cheat meals or sometimes allowing yourself to break a little bit off your diet in order to give your body whatever it needs. And I think that's the best way to do it. Well, the two ways that I like to do it is either Saturday evening, whatever you want, some point of the weekend, have a nice big meal. That's your cheat meal, which you'll put in your diary so that if you do want to cheat on a Wednesday, like, well, I can't cheat on a Wednesday because I've got my big meal on Saturday, or just little and often here and there, have a little bit of a snack in order not to send yourself insane. But you have to have the accountability and you have to have the discipline to know, well, actually, I pushed this a little bit far now, so now I've got to rein it in. It's like a tennis match, right? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I understand that Chris Bumstead has superior genetics, so he's going to be able to get away with more than you and I, but he's also made this in his entire life, so he is going to have to be super duper disciplined all the time, and I kind of think those two balance each other out. But I think that's a diet that most of us would enjoy to a certain point of view. And even if you don't, that is not the be all and end all. And I'll tell you why, because one, again, you're not Chris Bumstead, you're not training for the Olympia, and you're going to have your own goals and wants, and your body is going to want to do its own thing. Now, I just love watching these videos. I could watch what bodybuilders eat for their days till the cows come home. I don't even know why. Again, I tell you, it's because I think there's going to be a secret in there. They go, and then I take this magic pill, even though we already know what the magic pill is. But, you know, that's up to you. It's not my bag, baby, so we move on. But yeah, I saw it. It came up. I couldn't help but watch it. So I thought, well, if I like it, maybe somebody else would like it. And maybe you wanted some context around it. I don't know. In fact, I don't know why I made this video, but I've done it now and I'm going to put it live. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. There's a video on the screen right now. Give it a click. There's a bell right there. Ding, ding. So you can know when other videos are going live. Always appreciate that. Notification crew, or whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, come join the notification crew. And you can join the BLC, the big little club. Doesn't matter if you're big, doesn't matter if you're little. You're in my club. If you go into the gym and you're doing what you can. Basically, that ties into my merchandise, simonmiller.bigcartel.com. Also have a Patreon, patreon.com/simonmiller316. And if you find a video that you want me to have a look at and react to, or you just want to come say hey, or you want some advice, add simonmiller316 on Twitter and Instagram. That is correct. That's all it is. Thank you for joining me as always. And you know what? I'll see you on the next one.